Hey everyone, Ben here. Welcome to Interlagos for a 20-minute F4 sprint race on iRacing. And it's a race that showcases the very best and the worst of the sim as the green lights go. And we are underway. We're beginning the race in 13th position. I'm car number 7 in the split, so I've had a bit of a poor qualifying and I'm going to hope to recover some positions in the race. But for now, it's all about survival in a very tricky set of S's. For the opening corner here at Interlagos, down the hill we go. We just about managed to make it through side by side, and actually it looks like the whole field managed to do so as well. But you can see I've lost at least one position and I'm getting squeezed out now by Duran up ahead, and I'm going to come to the inside to see if I can make a move back, but I can't, so I settle in behind. But then look behind me, Kumala makes a move down my inside. That was a very late dive indeed. Luckily I just saw him. We avoided contact, but that's another position lost, so I could be down as low as 15th position on this grid of 21 cars. As we're into the middle section of the lap then, very different this section. We're going to be at the slow corners, but look at what's happening up ahead. One of the leaders of this race is going to get a tap from behind. Then there's big collisions. We rejoin the live action. You can see the carnage it's caused, with cars all over the track having had to react to the stricken Benetton liveried car. That was Jake Green. We'll see him again later in the race, but for now I'm just wary of having another car down my inside there. Once again I had to get out of the way of Victor Kamala, who managed to thread his way through that carnage as well and wanted to get past. Now I've got Navitela behind me. He's going to make a dive to the inside. Unbelievably risky moves at this stage of the race, but fair play to him. He got the move done cleanly, as I was just a little bit tentative on the outside, left the gap there, and he was down my inside. He's got that move done. I'm going to tuck hopefully into his slipstream as we come down the start-finish straight for the first time to end lap 1. Up ahead, Kumala is alongside Fernandez. We're going to see what position then we finish the first lap in. It's Pro just outside the top 10, then we're in 11th position. That's not bad considering how slow we were through the opening set of corners, but we're right in hot pursuit of Taylor, Fernandez and Kamala up ahead, so there are places well into the top 10 up for grabs here, as so many drivers were caught out on that opening lap in the middle sector and the various accidents that took place. Heavy on the brakes then into the tricky left-hander. You want to try and keep as much speed as you can. There's cars losing it up ahead. Taylor very nearly losing the back end. I had to get completely out of it. Look at how out of shape Kamala was as well. Now I've got Peter Conway coming around my outside. Unfortunately, I had to let the position go, all because I got stuck behind Taylor there as he lost the rear end and I ended up losing out. I'm going to try and get around the outside of Conway, down his inside here, but there's just not room. It's 2x2 up ahead as well, so this is very frantic racing well into the second lap here. There are at least 5 or 6 cars separated by just about a second and a half. We're behind Conway then, coming through the penultimate corner of the lap as we're coming into his slipstream. I'm going to think about replicating the move that Taylor made on me a lap earlier, down his inside, hit the apex, and he lets me go through without challenging me around the outside, and I've managed to get back past Peter Conway there then and up again into 11th position. This is a replay then of the move down his inside. It looks like I was able to catch him napping just as I was caught napping the lap before. We rejoin the live action then, and remember, if you like that overtake, if you're enjoying the action so far, hit the like button on YouTube. It will help more people find the video. But look at what's happening up ahead then. Not a moment to rest as we're closing in on the drivers up ahead, but even further up the road through Young Cow, one of the drivers up ahead has made a huge mistake as we're coming through then into the yellow flag zone. He must still be off on the grass, and yes, it's Van Leeuwenhorst off to the right hand side there, and that will be another position gained. And what's more, I'm closing in on Kumala and Taylor up ahead, who are scrapping heavily for position. That's us up into 9th position by the looks of things, and I could be about to make more positions here if I'm able to close in and make this a 3-way battle for 7th position. Peter Conway 0.7 seconds behind me, so a little bit of a gap forming then as we're heading towards the half race distance here, side by side up ahead then Kamala and Taylor. But once more there's action up the road as another driver is going to get it wrong, spin out through the opening corner. That's Jose Andre Calvo, and that will probably be his race ruined, but I've got my eyes is full of the two cars up ahead, as we're now going to be side by side with Kamala coming out of the centre S's, potentially with a run on Navi Taylor as well. Am I going to be brave enough to hold it down the inside with two cars on my outside? I decide to think better of it. Conway fancies a chance of getting around the outside, but in the end he thinks better of it too. Both drivers up ahead surely getting incident points for running it out that wide, but look at how hard they're fighting one another in this opening section of the race. Oh, but look at that big mistake from Taylor. He loses the rear end on the curb. That's going to allow Kamala through. Unfortunately, I wasn't close enough to follow him through as well, but it means I've got Taylor up ahead now, not Kamala, so that's a different proposition to try and close up on the rear wing of the car now, up ahead, and make a move as we come through into the final couple of corners. I'm not sure there's really an overtaking opportunity here. I'm 0.3 seconds back. Even that is not really close enough to make that dive that we've seen a couple of times into Young Cow, so I've got to focus on getting a good exit from this corner, getting into Taylor's slipstream up the hill, and then hopefully being able to shape for a move into T1. We've got half a second back to Conway, so he's not out of the picture yet either. We're just 0.7 seconds behind Kamala as well, so Taylor will be having a bit of a think about whether he can put the pressure back on Kamala too. As we cross the start finish line, then it's not looking that clear that we're going to be close enough on the 50-metre board. Get on the brakes, but Taylor's lost it. He's locked up his brakes, he's gone wide up on off of the grass, and that will be his race ruined as well. So that's going to be another position gained. We'll be up then into 7th place in this race. We fast forward then, and we're still not up to half race distance yet, and we're closing in on the 3 cars up ahead. Kamala then chasing down Fernandez and Vallejo up ahead. Conway now a couple of seconds behind us. Actually, he's just had an accident in my rear view mirror there, so that is going to give us a bit of breathing space behind. One of the drivers up ahead locks up. It's 3-way battling through this final section of the lap. I'm just keeping a watching brief, making sure I don't get caught up in any nonsense that transpires. Look at that, Kamala shaping for a move into the corner there. Oh, but 2 of them have come to grief. Look at that, and we're going to drive straight through the middle. Kamala had to slow as well to avoid being caught up in the carnage. Unbelievable. We might be about to make 3 places up in the space of just a third of the lap. We're side by side with Kamala here, down the back straight. It looks like he's just got the momentum on the inside. Do I dare hold it around his outside, given I know how elbows out this driver can be? In the end, I think about the opportunities to come later in the race and just get off the throttle slightly earlier, hoping to get a better exit, but it looks like Kamala has that move done. Now then, let's have a look back at what transpired between these 3 drivers here then. You can see Kamala trying to put the driver off up ahead of him, but actually it's the lead driver that loses it, and then the driver behind ends up clobbering into him. We rejoin the live action then with just a couple of laps left to go, and we're actually going to go split screen, because remember Jake Green on the opening lap, he got turned around while he's recovering, and he is now all over my rear wing. So this is going to be the battle for the final 2 laps of this race. Can we hold on to P5, which is where we found ourselves after all of those accidents? We're side by side going down into the left-hander. We just hold the position, and then Green has to tuck back underneath my rear wing. You can see just how dirty Green's helmet visor is, having followed so closely behind through that set of corners, but he's going to have it all to do to try and get past me, because I'm going to try and make my Formula 4 car as wide as I can. And truth be told, when people aren't making big mistakes and jumping off the road, this is actually quite a difficult racecourse to overtake on. But you can see I'm struggling for grip. I'm under pressure as I'm slightly leery through the middle sector of the lap there. Green has definitely got more pace than I have, once again running out wide on corner exit. He must be encouraged by this in the cockpit, but he's only going to have a lap and a little bit to make the difference. Exit of this corner is going to be crucial. He's slightly wide. That might just give me enough breathing space coming up the hill, but he will be right in my slipstream here as we're climbing towards the start finish line. We'll get the white flag this time around, so 1 more lap left to go as we're coming towards the start finish line. He's shaping to try and make a move down the inside. I cover him off nice and early, communicating really clearly that I'm going to defend the apex. He then tries to take the high ground through the corner, prioritise the really good exit down the second straight of the lap and get into my slipstream once again. You can see he's visibly quicker. Coming out of the centre S's, I come to the inside once again. There's no room for him down the inside, so Green has to come back to the racing line. I'm going to try and move over as much as I can without squeezing him out of room, just to open the corner up for myself slightly. This time he tries to hang it around the outside, but he just can't manage it. Is that then Green's best chance of an overtake gone? Well, he's going to keep the pressure on through the middle section of this lap here as we're coming through the uphill right-hander. You can see again taking a slightly wide entry to try and maximise the width of the corner into the next section, but he's not able to get down the inside. I plant my car once again on the apex. He's hustling me from left to right, trying to force a mistake really through this part of the track. Heavy on the brakes then into the right-hander. Only a couple of corners from home now then. We very nearly run it out too wide on exit. Once again he can sniff an opportunity, but I'm just able to close it off. Will he dive it down the inside into Young Cow? He doesn't. He opts for the wider line to try and get a better exit up the start-finish straight, but actually we nail that corner pretty well. Will we then have enough breathing space to hold him off, knowing that Green is going to be in my slipstream here? He is going to be closing and closing and closing all the way to the start finish line, but surely now we've got the result done. It's going to be milliseconds between us, but I'm able to hold on and claim P5. Wow, what a battle. Right then, here's the full classified results, and you can see just how close it was between myself and Green. Fair play to him. A brilliant recovery drive, having been turned around on lap 1, but also really clean, fair racing. Really enjoyed this combo this week. If you've got the car on track, I definitely recommend you to give it a go. And if you want to see more racing action from me, check out the video that's on screen now. It's another belter, and I'll see you on the next one.